This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Some things are just better together, like party playlists and Friday nights, campfires and ghost stories, peanut butter and chocolate. And Reese's Cups are the perfect combination of creamy peanut butter and delicious milk chocolate. So, when you want something sweet, you can't do better than Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Buy Reese's today wherever candy is sold.
Okay, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in this episode, man, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to talk about this, but eventually it was going to happen. It was going to happen. But I'm going to be talking about two wrestling shows or two wrestling, whatever you want to call it. All right, I don't know the exact words on what to call it. But anyways, two wrestling shows. That's what I'm going to call it. Those are the words I'm going to be using. But two wrestling shows are at like neck and neck right now, competing for like the trending spots on Twitter, competing with the fans tuning in, watching the shows, competing with how many tickets they're going to sell out with. And honestly, it's like neck and neck right now. It seriously is. And it's crazy because, so the two shows I'm going to be talking about, WWE and AEW. Now, WWE, I have been a long time fan of WWE. In fact, giving you guys a little backstory about how I even came across WWE. So I remember I had just moved to the current house I'm at right now. And I was flipping through the channels because I was like, I never had my own room. I never had my own TV. So I'm flipping through the channels. And I was doing that for like a while, just trying to find a good show to watch. And I think it was SmackDown. And it was right after WrestleMania. And it was their pay-per-view Backlash. And I remember where they showed now actor Batista and like legendary, both of them guys is to me, because Batista is that's why he's my favorite wrestler till this day. Like I do, man. Like I seriously, I just go back and just watch old Batista, like when Batista started. That was like my favorite era of Batista. But I think once when he cut his hair, got a little older, started doing these movies, then yeah, he changed a little bit. But like beginning Batista, yeah, I could watch that guy all day. In fact, one of my favorite matches of his is him and Triple H in WrestleMania 21. So anyways, but I seen when Batista was like had this rival with The Undertaker, and Batista ran full speed at The Undertaker, tackled him off the stage. You see all these things like falling down, explosions. And me as a kid, like, I'm seeing, actually, you know what? That wasn't the first time I watched WWE. First time I watched WWE, it was a women's mud wrestling match. So, but when I got involved, when I wanted to watch more of it and things, that I don't know. Like I remember I had some wrestling toys back before I had moved to the current house I'm in. But yeah, no, that when I seen that, that's when I was like, whoa. Like, I like that. I could definitely watch some more of that. And so, yeah, I continued watching WWE. Like, I was, like, slowly getting into it. But then, eventually, I was just full-on committed to it. Like, it got to the point I was, like, because my mom, she had me, like, on this curfew or, like, bed curfew thing. And it was, like, I think, like, 9 or 10 o'clock when I was in middle school. And I think, no, it was in elementary. It was my, last year at elementary. And I was like, no, like I gotta watch wrestling. I was like, I gotta watch wrestling. Like, please don't let me go to sleep right now. I have to watch it. I know there had to be nights where I was like sneaking the TV on, or then turning it all the way down and just watching it. But I was like, nah, I have to watch wrestling. And so after like time and time after like convincing her like let me watch it, then yeah, Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays. It was like, cause WWE has came on like so many times throughout the week. Like I like every single day pretty much I've watched wrestling and things, and so now it's like Monday and Fridays. But yeah, like I still watch WWE shows, and then what AEW. That's what was like everybody was talking about. Like that was like the buzz that was in wrestling. And so even there was like coworkers of mine, because there was another coworker that I used to work with. He was a WWE fan, and he was even talking about AEW. So I looked into it, and it was like, yeah, well, I guess AEW has been around for a while, but I don't think they really had like a big breakthrough until now. And so yeah, they got some heavyweights over there too. Like I mean, like they got some big names over there. There's like people like leaving their career in WWE to going over to AEW. So that's when you knew, okay, something serious is going on here. And last week, first time I ever watched AEW, I mean, I did see like some like videos and stuff and like things that they posted, like I guess like their pay-per-views and all that stuff. But like when I sat down and watched it, it brought me back to when I was a kid, like sitting down, even tonight, because tonight AEW comes on Wednesdays. And so even tonight, like I was sitting down and I was watching it, and it brought me back to when I was a kid watching wrestling. Like I haven't had that feeling in a while. Like I will watch wrestling, like I'll keep WWE on, like I'll like Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, but previously before it was like Tuesday Night SmackDown, Thursday Night SmackDown, like all these different nights. But Raw and SmackDown, like I would keep it on, but I wasn't committed to it like how I was like back when I was a kid. Like as I got older and things, and it just seemed like a whole lot of the stuff wasn't like going down like how it used to be, then I wasn't really into it. Like I mean I was, but I just wasn't like, I guess it was like more of a comfort thing. Like it was a comfort thing. Like I kept the TV on, I hear it in the background with some crazy stuff or some crazy matches, or like some of my favorite wrestlers would be on, then I'll watch it. But like it was like it hasn't been like that in a while, and I feel like now they're trying to compete with AEW and then have like all these crazy matchups, crazy matches, and all this stuff. And now they're trying to compete heavily, but I'm like, I don't even know half those guys in AEW. I don't even like, no, it's like a good majority of those guys like I don't know in AEW, but I'm committed to it. Like I'm watching it as if I do know these guys. So that's why I'm like, I got like a long history with WWE, but then AEW, they're bringing me back to when I was a kid watching this. So like, what do you do in a situation like that? Because I would really hate, like both them companies called me up and they said, we'd like to do some like promotional stuff with you and things. We'll like to have you involved. And like, what do you do? Like, because I'm like, man, I want to like, okay, stay committed to WWE because I've always stayed committed. I never really watched any other wrestling shows besides WWE. Only wrestling shows. I like TNA Impact. Like I remember there was like, and there's the funny thing was like there are some of my favorite wrestlers on TNA Impact. Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's like, he's like I had to say is like Jeff Hardy, Batista, R-Truth, because he's just like, he brings so much comedy to wrestling. But Jeff Hardy, I remember when he was in WWE, because I remember I bought the ladder match DVD, and that's when I think I was like, I was watching that, and it was like, that's how I came across Jeff Hardy. And I remember then when I started seeing him on TV, then I was like, yo, he's like one of my favorite wrestlers. I think it was that, and I think it was a time when he did that swanton dive on Randy Orton, and he like jumped from the stage, or like done this like thing from the stage. I'm like, yo, that dude's wild. And I was just watching videos back to back of his, and then the ladder match DVDs, and I was like, oh yeah, Jeff Hardy, favorite wrestler, hands down. Can watch that guy all the time. So I was like, yeah, Jeff Hardy. But yeah, he was on TNA Impact, but I didn't watch it. I did not watch it. There's times where they talked about stuff that will go down in TNA Impact, but I didn't watch it. I'll probably watch like little clips, like stuff like if it did involve one favorite wrestler, a wrestler I heard of, and then they was just like, oh, like they did something crazy. That'd be the only time. But I just didn't mess with TNA Impact heavily like that. I think I tried giving it a chance a few times, but no, it's like this isn't the same. This is not the same. And so back then, I feel like when I was a kid, WWE, their only competition was TNA Impact. That was their only competition, and then TNA Impact ended up flopping. Like, I don't even know what channel that show comes on now. Like, what wrestlers big do they have? And because I need to see. You would have thought, like, okay, Impact has been in the game for some time now. Now, you would think these wrestlers that's going over to AEW would be like, oh, okay, well, let's go over to TNA. Well, I don't even think they go by TNA Impact. I think they go by Impact or something like that. But still, regardless, whatever. You would think, because this will probably be the only, like, they're at a very, very low scale. But one would have thought somebody went over there and things. But nope, nobody. There's like the wrestlers that's on, I think on AEW, there's like some of those wrestlers were on TNA Impact. I think they were. I don't know about all of them, but I think some of them were, and then some of them was in WWE. But yeah, I think those guys, they're like, nah, I'm not going back to WWE no time soon. Like, there is one wrestler, he straight up just like quit WWE. It was the most bizarrest thing ever. And I honestly thought it was fake. Like, I thought, like, he was just saying that to just bring some, like, promotion to his name. And then he was, like, going to, like, just, like, you know, act like, oh, I'm leaving. Like, I'm done. Like, I can't do it anymore. Then he gets into a few fights, and he was like, all right, I'm staying, guys. I thought it was going to be something like that. But, like, they said, no, this was his last time fighting. Or being in WWE. So they did give him a send-off, had him wrestle one last time. But you had to know behind doors, those guys probably, because he probably was telling people, I'm going over to AEW. And who knows, he might die, because I know, like, so his name, well, in WWE, his name was Dean Ambrose, but now he goes by Jon Moxley. And so I think they said back in his like old days, like when he was like starting off with wrestling, that was the name he was going by. And so he was like, yeah, like he didn't really like say anything about it. And then all of a sudden he came out in this video and was just like Jon Moxley and things, like that's who I am. And I'm like, is he gonna come back to WWE like acting like we wasn't just calling him Dean Ambrose like 2 months ago? Like how is that gonna work out? Because I don't, like, is this like an alter ego or something? Like what's going on here? Then when they say he signed with AEW, then I think that's when it hit me that it was like, oh, okay, these guys, like, if they got wrestlers doing that, like they're leaving a good paying job, and I don't even know how much WWE is paying people, but like, I would imagine it's a lot since they're, like, the biggest company in the world, like, or biggest wrestling company in the world. Like, you got everybody going to your shows. You got, like 70, 80,000 people going to WrestleMania and things. Like, you would think they bringing in some numbers, right? But if, like, you got wrestlers leaving them to go to AEW, then I'm like, dang, man. That's why I started watching it, because I'm like, I got to see what's going on. I got to know what's happening. So that's why I'm like, man, and it's crazy because WWE, they got 3 shows coming on every week. Now, I only watched 2 of them. The one, I mean, I remember when it very first came out, I used to watch it, but then they put it on, like, on their website, and I don't know, I didn't really feel like doing all of that. I was lazy, so I'm like, if it ain't coming on TV, then I don't really care for it. And so then it kind of changed up. And then now they done brought it back, but it comes on the same day as AEW. And so I'm like, dang, like, what do you do? But I'm like, you guys took it away, and then we couldn't even watch it unless we paid like $9.99 a month to like watch it on WWE's streaming service. And so I was like, nah, man, I don't want to do that. But at first I think it was free, and then when they came out with WWE Network, then they had it where it's like, oh yeah, watch this and a bunch of other shows for like $9.99 a month. And so I'm like, okay, like, I guess that's okay. But I'm like, yo, this show was like free to watch, like if you had cable and things. Like, y'all shouldn't be doing people dirty like that and stuff. And now they brought it back. And I know there's like, I watched the first episode when they brought it back on TV and things. And they was all like, oh yeah, watch the first hour right now and then watch the second hour on the WWE Network. That's when they lost me. That's when they lost me with that show. I was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't, because I'm like, that show, like, I didn't sit here to just watch an hour. And so now, and I guess now they're showing 2 hours, and I'm like, that's some foolery, man. Like, you either show 1 hour or 2 hours, but I think they're showing 2 hours because they was like, oh, like, we want to compete with this AEW and things. And so honestly, but that's, and then with AEW, I know people are gonna be like, well, how many shows a week? Because WWE got 3. How many has AEW got on? They only got 1. One show that comes on every week. Here it is, WWE, they got 3 shows. I mean, yeah, they had 2 shows already. Them shows has been on TV for a while now. But then the third one they just added, they brought it back. But I'm like, dang. That's some crazy stuff, man. Like, here it is, you got 1 show that's just like, okay, we only showing 1 show a week. Like, then I think, but, like, you know, those guys are probably doing, like, other tours and shows and stuff. But, yeah, then pay-per-views and things. And so, and then, yeah, speaking of pay-per-views, because I know recently with WWE, they had this one pay-per-view where I was like, I don't know, like, I seen what had happened, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I guess it looks, like, cool, and this is different. Like, they ain't never did something like that before, but... So the wrestler hit another wrestler in the head with a sledgehammer, and then they overall ended the match because there's like the man's injured. And so, yeah, then the wrestler that they thought was injured, got his hand and was digging in the wrestler's mouth, and I guess blood was going all over the place. And so now, yeah, WWE is trying to be a little bit more bloody and things. But that was their problem. That's what they made a mistake in. They were trying to be too kid-friendly. I'm about sick and tired of this kid-friendly stuff. I am, because I'm like, no, kids be acting crazy. Kids are insane nowadays. They see that type of stuff. That ain't gonna sweat them. I was over here watching The Exorcist when I was like 7, 8 years old. You think some blood coming from a wrestler's head is going to faze me? I watched wrestling for that reason. Like, come on, man. Like, I was like, man, there was matches I was watching back to back because there was bloodied matches. That's why I like matches like John Cena versus JBL in the I Quit match. Like, I just think that was like right after WrestleMania 21. And then Batista and Triple H. Like, and they're bloody, or when Triple H was all bloody getting beaten down and stuff. I'm like, them matches, I loved them. So y'all trying to think like, oh yeah, we don't want no blood because of the kids and stuff. Man, don't nobody care what them kids think. Kids don't even know what's going on. Like, man, I ain't hearing that. But anyways, no, but with that pay-per-view, like, they, yeah, I guess people overall didn't like the fact that it ended in a no contest. I'm like, yeah, that's different. I ain't never heard that before and stuff. And so, like, I don't know. Like, they overall, like, because I guess, like, what they wanted the one wrestler, Bray Wyatt, they wanted him to win. But then it was like, I guess it's not his time. And I guess that's a thing in WWE where if a wrestler, like, if he's wrestling or he wants to get, like, a champion, they're like, oh, it's not your time right now. And so that's why, like, probably some of them wrestlers be leaving because they're all like, well, I'm not getting the spotlight that I was promised, so I'm out. And I think that's overall, like, why the wrestlers that's over at AEW that used to be in WWE, like, that's why they overall, they're just all like, oh, I'm done. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, you guys ain't giving me the spotlight that I want. I guess I could kind of see, like, you know, like, I see their point and why they would leave. But I'm like, dang, man, like, y'all had something in WWE and y'all just like was like, no, I'm done with that. I ain't doing this no more. I'm like, I guess, like, you know, I can't be mad at y'all for it, but dang, man, it's just crazy right now in the wrestling world. Like, you don't really know what's going on anymore. You got wrestlers going back and forth to places, leaving, getting banned. Like, it's just so much going on in the wrestling world. But I don't know, man. I know it's like somebody asked me, like, who you think is overall would, like, win this fight. WWE has been in the game for a while. They seriously have. And they're gonna probably be doing some crazy and wild stuff to bring them fans back. But yeah, overall, I think AEW, that's going to be a show where I think they done made its mark in its territory, and they're like, we ain't going anywhere. So they're like, you can try to get rid of us, but it ain't gonna happen. So I don't know. I think AEW, they're putting up a strong fight right now. And I'm proud of them. I am. Like, to see, like, a company like y'all, like, you guys was like, I mean, like, y'all was like, you know, making moves and stuff. But I feel like y'all made moves, like, fast. Like, really fast. So that's why I'm like, I'm proud of AEW. I'm proud to see what they're doing. And then WWE, I mean, you guys have maintained your name for years now. Before my time. And y'all still got them same fans, like, still watching it and stuff. But I don't know. I think that's one thing, though. Like, because AEW, them guys be doing something, like, I think they're a little bit more wilder when they come with them, like, wrestling stunts. And in WWE, they're like, no, like, we'll either save the stunts for pay-per-views, or we just, like, yeah, we'll do, like, a stunt here and there on or, like, on one of the wrestling shows. But I think now they got, like, some new people behind the scenes, so hopefully, yeah, it changes and things, and we get the wrestling that we all came there for and stuff. But I mean, you still got the fans. Them fans don't care. They're all like, man, I'm having a good time. Like, I'm surrounded by people just like me and stuff. So, anyways, yeah. But I'll talk to you. What do you guys think, though? Do you think WWE? You think they're gonna fall off, or you think AEW they just they gonna fall off? Who's gonna fall off and who's gonna win? All right, let me know what you guys think. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching this. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe to my other YouTube channels. And if you're listening to this on a podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. And if you are purchasing tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It'll knock $20 off your first purchase. So, that being said, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.